the Ford Escort, but not as you know it. I'll come on to this in a minute. But the car in today's episode is a Ford, but it's a Ford that us in the UK are much more familiar with than that one there. I'm in South Wales to see a car that hasn't seen the light of day for probably 20 years. And it's one of those cars that certainly my generation grew up seeing everywhere. They were everywhere. Everyone's parents had one, they were on every street, and now they've kind of all gone. I've been promised that the car is in much better condition than the garage. We think it's still dry and safe, but it hasn't been used in some time. So I'm hoping to get it out, see if we can strike it up, definitely give it a good clean. And I'm excited, because honestly, I haven't seen one in such a long time. So if you're interested in old Fords, don't tune out now. I'm Jonny Smith, and this is a Barn Find episode of The Late Break Show. So Neil, first and foremost, that's your obscure American Ford Escort that I just walked past.
That is my obscure car.
I mean, that's a rare groove car in this country.
Yeah, yes it is. Very, very rare.
Yeah, I love it. And that car came to one of our events actually.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it.
In Somerset.
I remember going, bloody hell, what's that?
The rare but nobody cares.
That is the rarest but nobody cares. It's in good condition.
Yeah.
So the car in here, tell us about your connection to it then.
Well, I knew this car about 30 years ago, and it's my daughter's great-grandmother's car.
Right, okay.
I'm not with my daughter's mother anymore, but we still got a connection. Yeah. And I knew this car has been sitting here for a long while.
Okay.
So her great-grandfather passed away about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And the car has basically been sitting there ever since.
And did he buy the car new?
He bought it off, I'm not sure if it's his brother or his wife's brother. Okay. And he bought it new.
Right.
But at the time, the car was still 12 years old when he bought it.
Right.
So it's in 1985, I think the car is. Yeah. And he bought it in about 96. Okay. 97.
From what I've gathered, because I've only seen one picture of this car, it's sat around a lot. It's not done many miles.
No. Not that many miles.
No.
It's basically a car that was taken out for the odd trip, probably on a Sunday. Yeah. And to the local shop, and that's about it, really.
And it came from a local dealer around here?
I think it came from the Ford dealer in Ammanford.
Right.
Near Ammanford.
Right.
So, yeah.
And you were saying, Neil, just before we started filming, that you said, I actually got offered this car when it was about 12 years old, do you say?
Yeah, so my daughter is now 29.
Yeah.
And around the time that she was about to be born, I was offered the car because I needed a four-door
family car.
A family car.
Yeah.
And I had a Mark I Fiesta at the time.
Yeah.
So I was offered this. I went to see it where it originally was. Yeah. Fell in love with it, but being a new father coming up, money, I just didn't have the money then to buy it. Yeah. Which I should have scraped the money together, I think.
But it's still here.
It's still here. Yeah, it's still here. It's still around.
Well, let's put people out of the misery. I mean, I guess we're going to have to unscrew the door.
It looks like it, yeah.
Because it's been patched up with bits of decking. Well, I'm feeling a little bit ill today. I'm worried if I sneeze near this, the whole bloody lot's going to come down, like some sort of nursery rhyme.
Right, okay.
Oh, I can see it. I can just see the back of it. Yeah, I can just... Yeah, this is going to come off. That's very rotten. To all the people that say that some of these barn finds are faked, they're not. I never do a recce. I never come and look at them first. Neil did give me one photo, basically the photo through this little door here. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh my gosh. Let's go this way. Oh shit.
Should we put it on the side?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. That's not going back on very easily, is it? There we go. It's a Ford Orion 1.6 Ghia, 1985. There we go. What the hell was that? Oh, was that door falling over?
Was it?
I don't know.
Jesus.
What?
So the bottom hinge is just bending.
Yeah. It's bending, is it?
Yeah, the top one is working.
Okay.
But the bottom one looks a bit...
Let's just say the wood is a little soft. Do you know it's weird, isn't it? Seeing an Orion all these years later, there's certain parts of an Orion I remember distinctly as a young lad. And it was the black lines on the rear lights, I think, which was a top spec thing. That distinctive Ford font with the line through it, which was on all the models. I've done enough barn finds now to know that some people do kind of store the weirdest of things. There's probably a lot of bags of just packaging, old cardboard boxes, old carpet, which is where all this has come from. There's carpet that's been set up here. Got no idea whether any rodents have been in here, but I hope that none of this has damaged the car. I've got at least 2 flat tyres. Wheel trims, not alloys. Yeah. If you want to know a bit more about the Orion, I'll do a quick history lesson for you.
In the early 80s, Ford needed a new small family saloon. The larger saloon, the Sierra, and the hatchback, the Escort, held their own in their respective segments, but Vauxhall sold the Cavalier in both saloon and hatch, and VW had the Jetta. Time for the Orion. Okay, it was basically an Escort saloon, but it was more than that, 9 inches more than that. Orion launched in September the 30th, 1983, and by November it was top 10 best-selling car. Dads loved them. The Mark II launched in 1986, and then the terrible Mark III ran from 90 to 93. Ford sold over 3.5 million Orions, but there's now believed to only be about 100 Ghia models left in existence. The Ghia meant XR3i derived velour front seats, a radio aerial built into the back window, and a joystick sound control for those 4 speakers, a rev counter, overhead digital clock, delayed action footwell and courtesy lights, electric and heated mirrors, central locking, tinted glass with sunroof, and of course, those black striped rear light clusters. All Ghia models were 1.6 CVH engines, but the injection was optional.
I'm going to start by removing a really nice retro can of super motor oil. That's cool. I'll put that by the door. Neil, meanwhile, has opened the side door, so he's going to start clearing out where the front of the Orion is, and I'll do the side. There's a lot of clothes and like children's toys and books and stuff like that, which I think has probably seen better days. That's a quality slip-on, that. That is a quality slip-on with a shark inside. I'm a bit colourblind. Would you call
it's like
is it bluey silver, bluey?
I got Nimbus Grey coming to my mind, but that's probably something completely different.
I tell you what though, it looks really good where it's been undercover at the front. I was worried that at the back there you can see there's some sort of surface rust stains from where the roof's been dripping. The condensation from the roof, because it probably gets a bit sweaty in here. But not seen any mouse droppings, which is good. A couple of really important things. Got front ears of Spacebook, which we're going to need for the Orion.
Yeah.
And Trivial Pursuit, and unfortunately absolutely no Quality Streets, which is a real tragedy because I'm feeling a bit ropey today. I could do with just sitting on the sofa in my pants eating Quality Streets. Apologies for the nasal. We are nearly there with this. So I think we've cleared all we need to clear to get the Orion out. This is all just bags of bags and old bubble pack and just mess. So all 4 tyres are flat, so we need to air them up. Then I guess we'll see if it will roll out.
Yeah.
Whether it needs a tug.
Is
the handbrake on?
It may be.
Oh, okay.
It may be.
All right, so we might end up having to,
resort to brute force.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Handbrake has been left off. I was really worried it was on. Doesn't guarantee that the brakes won't be seized, but all 4 tyres have accepted 30 psi. Front of the car's clear. We found what looks like a brand new Austin Maxi front bumper in the rafters. So if anyone's looking for an Austin Maxi front bumper, I'll put you in touch with Neil. Now we're going to see if we can get the car out, so we can have a better look at it and maybe give it a little clean. Yeah, I think this will roll. It's going. So the front's going to hit the threshold now. Well, behold, the Orion Ghia. So we've got it out. 57,300 miles, and it looks really good in there. The back seat is got some kind of bric-a-brac on it. We'll get that stuff out. Hopefully there won't be any mice living in there. But you can see on the body the what looks like rust. See these dark stains? It's just mostly a real surface scab. I mean, the arches and everything are really good. And I saw that when we first opened the garage door, but I reckon that's probably the worst bit. That's just a stain from water dropping on the ceiling. This is all plants. It's all flower seeds. It's not mouse mess.
That was
old school. So 1600 carburettor. I recognise that air cleaner. It's so Ford of that era. You can see a lot of corrosion around the brake master cylinder. Usually that all leaks out and disappears. Exhaust manifold, and that's a lot of aluminium corrosion, but the fuel line where it comes in is really easily accessible. That's good for running the Can of Hope. And I guess what we'll do is we'll do the usual checks. We'll check the fluids, like the oil, take the air cleaner off, have a look at the carburettor, disconnect fuel filter, and then I'll probably whip the plugs out to see if we have any chance of and put a battery on it, because that battery sure as hell. Oh, of course it's Ford.
square.
It's bloody Ford square terminals. Flat terminals are horrible, aren't they? That was a Ford thing. There is an aftermarket alarm on this, which we saw on the parcel shelf, and there's a load of wiring down here which I bet is from that. So let's hope that doesn't cause havoc, shall we? There it is. That's the bloody siren right there. Well, we can look, there's 2 fuses. I can immediately take a fuse out of it, can't I?
Lost arm.
Front panel, I mean, this is a little bit scabby, but I mean, look, you still got the Ford badge on here, the stickers.
A bag over the fuse box.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they tied a bag to protect it.
Interesting. This car was obviously cared about.
I think so.
Which is why it spent so long being garaged and
with the low miles.
Yeah, it was kind of a only use it for best kind of situation. Let's start by just taking the air cleaner off, then I can access the fuel pump, which is a mechanical one on the side, and get the fuel feed off that. Oh, yay. So you've had a few Fords then, have you?
I have.
Yeah, apart from your rare, but nobody cares.
Rare, but nobody cares.
US Escort.
Yeah, I've had two or three Mark 1 Fiestas.
Yeah. God, they were everywhere as well.
Yeah, and they were all 1.1 Ls. Lovely sounding tap at the engine.
Oh, they were, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
They were a tappity
Wonderful
thing.
I had the Mark II Fiesta with this engine, but the 1.3.
Yeah.
Which has sounded better, I think.
Is it on a clip?
Here goes out. Another, whatever that is. Oh, that's...
A bit of corrosion on. Is that another vacuum pipe that's died? Yeah, it's just these little rubbers that connect the vacuum pipes. Inside, I mean, it's not seen a service in a little while for that. But so you think somebody's changed it to a manual choke?
Yeah. So that's the. What's this?
That's the choke cable, I think.
That's the choke cable. Yeah, it is.
That's the throttle cable. I would lube the linkages of that. But now I can get to that fuel pipe there, because we're probably going to take a feed from that fuel pipe. I'll go and get my sockets because I'll take the plugs out next. Well, they've all come undone, that's a good start. A good solid start. One of the most fun days I've had in barn find world was another Ford barn find, which was in Escort, Mexico. One family owner car. Beautiful. I'll put a link for that on screen now. That was a lovely day. Once we've segregated the fuel system, we can put a battery on it and see if it turns.
Yeah.
I will check the fluids. We've checked that. That's still got water in it, which is good. Still got antifreeze in it. And I probably will give I'll have a quick look at the cam belt behind this cover before we turn it over.
Are these still called? My father used to call these the King lead.
The King lead is the one, from the coil. From the coil. Yes. I mean, now we have coil packs, and it's not the same. But yeah, the King lead was always
That's the King lead,
because that feeds all the others with sparks.
So that's all back together.
Great. So now I'm just going to remove that. Once we've got the feed to the carb, then we can make. It doesn't matter whether the fuel pump works or not. I mean, when we turn the car over, if the fuel pump does pump and the tank's got fuel in it, it'll just start.
Yeah.
It'll start putting it somewhere that we can just stop and put.
I might be able to access that better from here, Johnny.
You reckon? I can't get to it very well from here.
So
I don't want to mask the view of the viewers. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it looks clean.
Look at the oil.
Yeah.
You can read maximum and minimum clearly. So we can go for a turnover in a minute. We'll put that battery on.
Yeah.
And we can.
Let's grab the battery.
70s and 80s Ford seem to be just so nostalgic for so many people. But the Welsh like a Ford, don't they?
Yeah.
They always have.
Yeah.
It's synonymous. Rally or not, it's still a very popular Welsh brand of car. Just want to say, Ford, what was going through your head when you thought that a flat battery terminal was a good idea? Everyone else was doing nice big conical ones. You had horrible fiddly ones.
What's that like? Is that crusty?
There is crust underneath. So the battery tray itself
is
good, but it sits on another. I don't think it's wholly.
But that's fully charged.
Good.
So
it's got plenty of grunt in it.
It should have plenty of grunt in it.
Yeah. Is it a young battery or is it an old battery?
It's a couple of years old, but I keep it.
Is that your backup?
It's a backup battery, exactly.
A true car enthusiast always has a backup battery.
Always.
So I don't normally do this with terminals, but we're going from flat to round and blah, blah, blah. But these clips are pretty strong, so. Right.
So
let's just do a sense check. Fuel is isolated, so if the fuel pump works and there's fuel in the tank, it will try and pump it through here. It's got a clear filter there, right? So we'll see that. There's no compression. So we've got these. We'll arrange the plugs so that we hopefully will see a spark.
So we check to see if we have actually got power going through.
See if we've got dash lights, if you can, Neil, yeah?
I got no dash lights.
None. So no dash lights at all. I suppose the next stage is to look at fuses. Just check that there's no corrosion or a fuse that's obviously ruined. I don't think we can read that bag anymore.
No. Now then, what's this all about?
Is that like a wire that's been...
Been...
Well, I think we know where that's...
It's been shoved into a fuse.
And I think that's all that bunch of wiring which is connected to the alarm.
Yeah, so what they've done, there's a label here, so it is the alarm. So it's got fuse box, so they've just taken the feed, they just rammed the wire into the fuse.
Nice. Must be so hard to have deactivated that alarm. Do you want to... Yeah, kill it.
So that's
the aftermarket 80s alarm.
Yeah.
We'll
professionally fitted.
Kill it, because whoever has this car, whether it's you or somebody else, you're never going to need that alarm.
We've got interior light, which is good.
Yeah, interior light's good. Any light's good, really.
So we've got radio.
Got the radio.
Got the radio.
Nice.
Radio 2, of course.
Lovely.
And dash lights.
You have got dash lights.
Yeah.
So what was it? Was it just the ignition barrel was...
Yeah, I think it must have been just a bad connection on the barrel because nothing has changed.
Okay, well if you're in neutral, I'd go for a turn.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Nice.
That's good.
I tell you what's really good is we've got spark too.
Oh, have we?
From at least 2 plugs. That didn't sound like it was under any strain.
No.
Did it? We'll put the plugs back in, attach some fresh fuel onto that input there.
Yeah.
Probably just lube this a little bit, just so that all of the mechanism of the carb is free.
This must work on vacuum, yeah?
Yeah, it must. Yeah.
It's not like a...
But all the vacuum is shot to pieces, so
yeah,
it might splutter. But we know it's got strong sparks. So if we introduce fresh fuel, then we might get fire in the hole. Right. That's it. The only thing we don't have is all the vacuum pipes connected because all the little rubber elbow joints have just rotted and fallen to pieces in our hands. But everything else we think is good to go. Yeah?
Do you want to give it a turn?
Yeah. Right, stop. Right, that fuel pump is really healthy.
Yep.
Yeah, like really healthy. It's the fact that it hasn't tried to fire at all. It's whether I've flooded it.
Yeah. And we had spark.
Yeah, we had spark on 2. I noticed it on two plugs. So that goes back down here. I'm going to reconnect it. I don't know why. I feel like this fuel might be okay. If the filter looks in good condition, so it's not going to introduce a load of old foreign bodies in there. Oh, a bit of throttle. Okay. Well, it stumbled, which it didn't do before.
So I pressed the accelerator and that seems to have held itself down for some reason.
It's sticking. Yeah. The throttle's sticking. Yeah, it is. Look, it's usually rusted inside the sheath. I'll use the original fuel there, but I might missed a bit of fuel from a top, just down the neck of the carb a little. Oh, it's a syringe. Actually, a syringe is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
See when?
Yeah.
Nearly.
Very nearly. Oh! Goodness me. Well, it's trying.
So the choke is off.
Clear. Come on. Oh! Well, it's definitely trying. Let's do that again, I reckon. Listen to that. That's running on its own fuel. It's missing a little. It's probably because the fuel is old. That's not too bad at all.
It's about quarter throttle.
It's running. The Orion Ghia is back. No smoke at all.
No.
No. That smoke down there is where we've sprayed WD and the exhaust manifolds got dirt. That's nice. It's running really smoothly. It's alive.
Like try the windows.
They work.
And they both work. Both work.
Don't do the sunroof yet,
no,
because you'll get a load of chaff coming in. Now that we've celebrated getting it running, we're going to give it a quick clean. But before we wet it, I just want to sweep off the worst of all of this muck off the top. So soft brush and away we go. I don't want all this to go into the rain channels, you see. You don't want to see all this in real time, so cue montage. Just cleared the back seat, and again the upholstery's great, no sign of mice, can't believe it. Nothing of any interest of stuff in the back apart from this, a new old stock Dancing Hamster Sugar Ray Clay edition. No idea what that is, but here it is. And the other thing, this is possibly a little bit more car related, we've noticed these little aluminium stripes on the door cards have still got the blue protective plastic on them. The only one that's been removed is the driver's side. Everything else has still got them. Are you going to buy it off your family?
I am tempted.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have they given you first refusal?
Yeah, she has, yeah.
Has she?
She said to me just now, she said, do you want it?
You got to, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I've got to.
Because it's
second bite of the bullet, isn't it?
It's exactly that.
Second.
You had a chance 20 odd years ago,
Yeah.
and you didn't take it 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
So 30 years later,
There it is again.
don't know what's in the boot. Okay, so a few pairs of pants. Simpsons boxer shorts, yeah. Extremely hard pair of pants. Pants. Not the first barn find car that we've had pants in. First male pants. We've done 2 barn finds now with lady pants in. The Ford Cortina was my favourite one. Right, the all-important, what's the condition of the boot floor like? I mean, the carpet's excellent. Well, it's still got the quality control stickers, look. Look at that. Chassis. It's the inspection. Is it were Orions made in Germany? I can't remember if Orions were made in Germany. But this looks really good. So although I haven't been feeling 100% today, I think this car is fundamentally in rude health. I mean, with 2 or 3 days work, we reckon Neil will probably be able to have it on the road. Having cleaned it, even briefly, it's come up gorgeously. Really am impressed. And it runs well even on 20-year-old petrol. So I hope you've enjoyed this barn find edition of the Late Break Show. It begs the question, do you know anybody? Or maybe you are that person if you've got a car on a driveway, in a garage, in a real barn, in a hedge that is of interest for me to come and film. Let us know. There's an email address in the description. Give us a photo, give us some backstory. We'd love to know more. Thanks very much.